how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, and in this short video I want to explain a bit more about how LinkedIn ads work. So I've done quite a few videos recently on LinkedIn advertising. I think it's a fantastic platform, a sort of misunderstood platform in some respects. If you're selling to other businesses like I do and my clients do, then you definitely want to be looking at LinkedIn advertising. So I'll go into a bit more detail about how the platform works, sort of fundamentals of it, what you need to know, and whether or not it's something you should be looking at for your business. So long story short, in many respects, LinkedIn advertising or LinkedIn ads is a little bit like a sort of business version of Facebook advertising. So it's very different to Google, or at least Google ads. So Google ads, we mostly know it for being the search advertising platform. So you go and you run an ad for car insurance or people searching terms relating to car insurance if you're selling car insurance. Whereas as we know with Facebook, if you've used it before, you're basically advertising people who aren't necessarily in a buying phase. They're not actively searching for anything, they just happen to be on Facebook, and you're hitting them on the basis of demographics and interests and so on. Well, with LinkedIn you're doing the same thing, but with a much more professional focus. Facebook is a bit more about hitting people based off what they're interested in and sort of about at a personal level, whereas LinkedIn's pretty much the same thing in many respects, but you're doing it at a career or professional level. So what you're able to do with LinkedIn is go and target on a whole lot of different professional criteria. So that's things like job title, job function. So job function might be business development, so anything relating to sales, and a job title might be something like sales manager or sales associate or anything like that. And just a quick tip there is that if you do run LinkedIn ads, you really want to look at playing around with sort of job titles and then also job functions. Part of the problem you tend to encounter is that different businesses categorize the same job as different things, or as they call the same job different things. So one business is sales associate, as the next business is sales ninja or something like that, but both of those jobs would fall under the remit of business development as a job function. So if you are running ads, you might have to play around with some of these sort of categorization options, but basically what you've got is a whole lot of different ways to target people on their professional experience, what they're up to career-wise. So yeah, job function, job title, company industry, company size, location. There are demographic options as well, like gender and age bands. You've got things like career sort of history or qualification history, LinkedIn group memberships, all sorts of interesting things like that. You can also target on the basis of custom audiences, so you can install the LinkedIn Insight tag. It's like a Facebook pixel. You can retarget to that audience, so people who've hit your site. You can retarget or remarket on the basis of video views. So if you run a video ad campaign, you can remarket to, say, people who watched at least 50% of the video. You can do things like upload custom lists of individuals, so contacts, or upload company lists as well, and target those or use those to sort of further segment your targeting. So lots of options, in many respects kind of like how Facebook does it versus Google's search-driven targeting. But the difference here is that you're doing this primarily on a personal career or professional background level, rather than just sort of a general interest level. So if you wanted to reach golfers, for example, it's probably going to be easier to reach golfers on Facebook than it is on LinkedIn. But if you wanted to reach people who are, mechanical engineers at defense and aerospace companies, it's going to be a lot easier to do that on LinkedIn. You've got those options. With respect to sort of next steps, once you've got your targeting, you've now got the option to go and pick your objective. So LinkedIn supports a bunch of different objectives. You've got things like website clicks, so pretty obvious, clicking off to a landing page on your site, whether that's a blog post or a home page or a sign up page or anything. You've got the ability to optimize for conversions, so using your LinkedIn Insight tag, if it's a webinar sign up or something, you can set up event tracking and conversion tracking, pass that back into LinkedIn. You can optimize for video views, brand awareness, so impressions, all those different kind of things. So once again, a bit like Facebook, you've got multiple different objectives you can go for. So a lot of the clients I work with, for example, we kind of run a two-tiered system. We use more awareness-based advertising at the top of the funnel, pushing things out like case studies and industry insights and how-to guides and tutorials to people who may have never heard of the business before. And we're not really focused on driving them to a website or anything. We just want them to see the brand and start to learn that brand. And then if we're using something like a video ad, for example, at the top of the funnel, we might remarket or retarget people who've watched a certain percentage of that video and try and push them towards a white paper or a free trial sign up or a request a quote or something like that. So you've got lots of different objectives to pick from as well. And then you've got your ability to set your creative, and you've got different creative types. You can upload a single image in text, you can upload a video in text as carousel creatives. There's even just text-only ads. Probably the biggest difference with LinkedIn versus say Facebook is that LinkedIn's creative options are nowhere near as sophisticated. It's harder to make ads look kind of how you want them on LinkedIn. They're a bit more restricted in terms of what you can do, but unless you've got very sort of out there ultra specific requirements, you will be able to make something that suits. But the actual process is really rather straightforward in many respects in terms of how LinkedIn ads works. It's a case of picking your objective, picking your targeting, and then picking your creative and then running your ads and looking to optimize from that and sort of analyzing your data and deciding what you want to do with the campaign. Do you want to keep it running? Do you need to pause it and change your targeting? Can you tweak your targeting over time? So for example, you can load up a demographic report that shows you the companies who've seen your ad, as long as there's enough data, and you might say, hey, I'm seeing some companies in here that aren't a good fit for what I sell. You could go and then exclude those companies from your ad targeting and kind of gradually refine your targeting over time. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward platform in many respects. The key thing to bear in mind is that it's nowhere near as sophisticated as, say, Facebook advertising's platform. Facebook ads as a platform has got a lot of issues, as anyone will tell you, but there are sort of more options, there's more customization. LinkedIn ads has a lot of weird idiosyncrasies. It's got some strange concepts like campaign group that can kind of confuse people a little bit. What you'll find with LinkedIn ads if you use it regularly is that you'll pretty quickly realize and work out that it seemed like quite an afterthought to LinkedIn. I think their primary monetization method, at least historically, had been selling premium subscriptions and recruitment sort of services or facilities, and then they said, hey look, let's try and monetize via advertising as well. And so the ad platform does feel a bit like an add-on. You hit bugs and all those kind of things, but ultimately you can persevere with it. The key thing is to build out the strategy. What are you actually trying to achieve? What problem do you want to solve? Is it that you need to drive webinar signups or clicks to your website to read a blog post, or just drive awareness? Pick an appropriate objective, pick targeting that makes sense, test different targeting types, so test a combination of job title and company industry along with a different audience of job function and specific company names, which you can do. You only need a minimum audience size of about 300 people, so you can get pretty specific, test those different audiences and optimize your campaigns accordingly. But yeah, how LinkedIn ads works, basically think of it as a sort of slightly less sophisticated, business-focused version of Facebook ads. It's a very high-level take. There's more to it than that, but that will sort of get you started. Key thing is what are you trying to achieve? Who do you need to get in front of? Build out some sort of testing scenarios for that audience, so different ways of reaching it. Get good creative in there with a sort of compelling offer, or consider promoting, if it's at the top of the funnel, educational or non-promotional content, because that often performs quite a bit better in terms of driving engagement and awareness and so on. Then test and sort of refine based on the performance you're getting. So yeah, hopefully you find that helpful. I'll leave some links in the video description to other videos like LinkedIn ads cost information and also a strategy that you can just pick up and run with. Hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.